Bennett Water Systems has morphed into a company that is focused on delivering crop value. It's time for a company to really stand forward and try to maximize every drop of water in providing the best crop value that we can.
Hello, I'm Matthew Malcolm with California Dairy Magazine, reporting to you here today with Anya Radaba, CEO of Western United Dairymen. We've had some bills pass in California over the last several years that are kind of leading to a serious issue that's pending, or that's ahead of us. Right, we're dealing with calf hutches, with these anti-animal ag activists that are just continuing to prod, and that bill passed, Proposition 12 passed with flying colors, right?
60%.
So, how are we going to deal with this moving forward? We've got to have calf hutches, and we've got to have calves to have cows.
Well, I think more importantly, having the conversation with the consumer about the right production practices and not being afraid to discuss this issue, that really needs to be at the forefront of our actions and our policies. And the dairy industry and the beef industry have united to essentially combat that anti-animal ag activism, which includes veganism. We want to make sure consumers have choices, but are making properly informed choices. And so being able to talk more freely about production practices, which include calf hutches, is something that we have got to tackle immediately.
And what do you see as a potential impact of if something like that were to pass?
Dairying in California would cease to exist as we know it. We have multiple dairies that raise calves on their ranches, but there's also quite a few contract calf raisers, and it would affect all levels of activity. We would not be able to cope with those regulatory cost of production increases, and so for that reason we have to treat this very seriously.
Yeah, so there's not really any alternatives.
There are some options that will ultimately increase costs. I think that these are issues that in a farm economy, particularly in dairy, where you are operating well under the cost of production, it's infeasible, and it would be one more straw that dairymen in California cannot handle.
Yeah, I mean, we've already got increasing costs and lower prices, so the dairy producers can't handle too much more. So in the meantime, though, obviously, groups like Western United Dairymen are going to be lobbying on behalf of the industry for this. But what can the dairy producers themselves do? What would you encourage them, in participating in this dialogue?
Well, everyone gets a vote. There is an upcoming referendum called the California Cattle Council, where we are asking producers to consider voting for a checkoff that essentially would fund discussion and marketing around production practices. Different from the current checkoff programs, it is refundable. It also does something that the existing beef checkoff and the existing dairy checkoffs do not do. They focus on finished products. In this case, again, we're talking about how we raise our cattle, the benefit that they are to the environment. So we have on the cattle side, rangeland management, reduced fuel load for fires. This is all carbon neutral conversation. On the dairy side, there are tremendous amounts of efficiencies that we've done with water conservation, including our methane reduction. So these are very direct and open ways that we would speak directly to the consumers about the benefits of cows in California.
Right, and when do you see this thing coming to pass?
The referendum drops next week. There is a 30-day voting period. We encourage all producers to cast their vote, yay or nay. Again, our boards mutually thought that it was incredibly important to have a refund provision, which is very, very distinct from existing checkoff provisions. If producers don't like the checkoff program, then they can simply get their money back. But it will be a 30-day referendum. It's a majority vote. So we encourage everyone to make their voices heard if they care about this issue.
Great. Thank you, Anya. We look forward to seeing how that progresses. Read more about it in California Dairy Magazine. I'm Matthew Malcolm, CaliforniaAgNet.com.